Saturday. Let's see who we get tonight. Maybe since it's Saturday, we might even get Nomad. Although I doubt it. Would be nice for a drop-in visit. Nomad, Neckbeard, Wyatt. We'll see. Oh, you rotten, good-for-nothing. From the WDWL TV multiplex, live from an empty studio. With great anticipation, we bring you the pride of the station, the grumpy old man, me, and the grumpy disco vulture. Take your bow. Be nice. Do it right. Do it right. A little bit of an angle. You wear that for another month now. Oh, look in your spotlight. There you go. Tornado. Holy shit. Really? Ah, damn. Batten down the hatches. I hope it misses you. Oh, and Jenny, you got flooding. Holy shit. Do we need to build an ark? I told you, this weather is screwy this time of the year. Yeah, just, hey, Kathy, I appreciate you popping in. Safety is the matter. Batten down the hatches. You know, like they say, either basements or doorways, because doorways are always stronger. So, I wish you luck. We'll pray for you. Make sure, hopefully it goes by you. Jenny, I know what flooding's like. God damn. The sewer system in this neighborhood is like from the late 40s. And whenever we get a nasty rainstorm, our basements flood. And the thing that pisses me off is it's not even our water. It's water from a suburb kind of southwest of us. Last year, I lost 2 hot water tanks. A month of exactly a month apart to the day and fucking hour. The guys from Ream Hot Water Tank couldn't believe it. I said, yeah. I said, last month, on this date, at 7 p.m., the basement started to flood. I said, yesterday, exactly a month to the day, 7:05, the water started coming in. Wiped out 2 hot water tanks. And they replaced them without a blink of an eye. If I ever need another hot water tank, I'm buying a Ream, because there was no question. Matter of fact, I had pictures of the flood. I sent them pictures. They said, we'll send you a certificate to take to the homeless depot to get a new hot water tank. Exactly a month later, I'm going back to the homeless depot for another hot water tank. Because these goddamn, everything's got a fucking computer on it today. And what happens, now, they did tell me what to do the next time. The water hits the electronic sensor that turns the burner on. They told me to, when I see water, go down and unplug the two plugs on the computer unit on the front of the tank. And as long as the water doesn't get above the computer, it will relight once it dries out. Of course, they didn't tell me after the first tank, but when I called them and I said, hey, I'm emailing you pictures of last night's flood, within a half an hour, I had an email certificate to take to the homeless depot for a second. So, and luckily when the water come in, my furnace is up. It's got, my furnace looks like a 2-drawer file cabinet, a little dipsy doodle thing. It's a 90 plus, and they installed it on cinder blocks. So my furnace is 24 inches off the floor. But yeah, it sucks. In this day and age, you would think that they would have some kind of flood control, but you know, when all hell breaks loose and you got flood water, 6 foot deep, rolling through the city, what can you do? Just, I feel sorry. I feel sorry for both of you. Although, every time we get a thunderstorm here, I go into panic mode. About every 10 minutes, I'm looking in the basement to see if there's water, so I can run down and unplug my hot water tank. And luckily, my washer and dryer are 24 inches off the floor on platforms. This shit went on back when I was a little kid, and it's still going on. But see, the goddamn city is run by jerks, incompetence, and we never get any federal money for anything. The sewer system in this neighborhood is still the old 4-foot pipes. Everywhere else, they're 6 to 8 foot. So we suffer here. You got water right now? You got water, Jenny, in your basement as we speak? He's going to tariff us to death. He's going to piss off every goddamn country that he can piss off. You got water, huh? How bad? I'll tell you, in the house up the street that I moved out of, now I've been here going on 5 years. I'll say it's got to be like 7 or 8 years ago. I had 6 feet of water in my basement. It destroyed everything. And when the water goes down, the whole basement is covered with like sewage, sand and dead leaves, and oh, the smell. It takes forever to get the goddamn stench out of the goddamn house after the basement's flooded around here. But every time we have thunderstorms, I'm constant looking in the basement, so that I can run down and unplug my hot water tank. That, everybody wonders, why does your living room look like a fucking warehouse? Because you can't put anything in the basement. It's my basement has like nothing in it. My washer, my dryer, hot water tank, furnace. I've got a couple of tables down there and stuff's on top of tables, but you can't put anything in the basement. Like, you can't make a rec room. My neighbor learned the hard way across the street. I kept telling him, Rob, don't remodel your basement. Oh, I want a man cave. So he had it all paneling, carpeting. We got that flood, ruined it all. I says to him, maybe next time you'll listen to the crab ass across the street. What a way to start a show. We probably won't be seeing Nomad for a while because we start too late now. It's like midnight over there. And not to mention that he's been quite busy. I emailed him today, and he told me, first of all, he says, I really been extremely busy, and he said it's the show starts too late. I was kind of thinking maybe he'd pop in over the weekend, but at least we know where he disappeared to. That's why he hasn't been on Discord either. Although, I'm glad to hear that he's busy because, that's his livelihood. I think he works for himself. I'm not sure. I know if he has a regular job, I know he has a side job. Yeah, I emailed him first thing this morning while it was on my mind. I was like, so, yeah, he told me, he said, we start just a little bit too late. Although, maybe he'll pop in tomorrow night. I don't know. I kind of thought I'd see him tonight. That's like, I'm waiting for a package. Now, you see, it's 7:15. I never heard of this delivery company, GoFo, GOFO, GoFo Express. I think GoFo stands for Go For Yourself because my package, where I don't know where their terminal is, the package left at 9:36 this morning. Here it is 7:15 and it's still not here. I was kind of hoping to have a new background because that's the package I'm waiting for. And I'm going to tell Timu, I don't know where you found this company, but shit can them already. Their tracking website sucks. And you can't get any information. You know, I clicked everything at the bottom of the website. You don't know where they're located. Although when I sent them a nasty email this morning, bitching about their tracking system, it said 7:58 AST. Now, I don't know what time zone AST is. Like somewhere off the continent. I think it said like Aruba. That they must work cheap. I've been checking their website all day today to see when my package is going to be. They don't even tell you. It just says it'll be delivered today. Like, you know, UPS tells you between 12 and 3. FedEx will tell you, you know, between 12 and 6. This website, your package is out for delivery. That's it. I was really hoping to put up a new background. I got some real neat ones. But although the day did start out really nice, when I went up to the store, as a matter of fact, it was hilarious. This assistant manager doesn't know me. I come up to the service desk and I says to Carol, the girl working behind the desk, I said, is Tim around? She says, I'll page him. So I hear over you, Tim to the service desk for customer service. He comes up to the service desk. He goes, you're the one for the sausage and hot dogs, right? Do I have like a mug shot in the back room or something? I said, yes. He goes, come with me. So he gives me, I get the hot dogs in natural casing. I get the Slovenian sausage, the regular. They didn't get the hot yet. That's okay. I get the Knackwurst. And the other hot dog, I can't remember what it is. He said, we're waiting for it. It'll be here Monday. So he handed me 3 packs. Put them in your basket. Okay, in my basket. He said, you're going to need buns with those. Boom, 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 boom. Here's your buns. And he goes, when the other items come in, there will be a note from me at the service desk that you will get free buns to go with those that were waiting to come in. So in my basket, because while I was waiting for him to come up to the service desk, I went back and I grabbed a can of hot dog chili. He looks in the basket and he goes, "Oh, here, we'll throw that in too." I thought to myself, I should have had like 6 cans in the basket. I didn't want to push it, but it was freebie day. He told me that the people in corporate, and he said, I'm going to say this in a nice way, they hope they don't hear your voice on a voicemail for quite a while. I said, well, keep me happy and you won't. And I told him, I said, you know, all I got every time I talked to somebody was a bunch of word salad. Don't give me word salad. Tell the truth. Be honest. I said, I got to the point I got pissed off, and I just called corporate. I said, same thing. I said, you know about the Schwabels deal? He goes, oh, God. Oh, he said, we had meetings over that. I said, you know, it's nice to walk back there and see a minimum of 10 loaves of Jewish rye. Although the sad thing is I haven't really had a taste for sandwiches for dinner, so I haven't bought Jewish rye in about a month. But it's back there. I go back and I check. And I'm slowly learning the codes. You know, those goofy clips that they stick on the packages. You used to get twisties. You know, now you get them plastic clippies. Whatever the different color is the freshest. Because, like, you'll have blue clippies on top and yellow clippies underneath. I always take the yellow one because that's the freshest. Big secret, you're not allowed to know the color code for the clippies for the bag. Well, that's quite easy to figure out. You're not going to put today's delivery on top. If there's something from yesterday, you're going to put that on top. So I just, whatever's underneath. Oh. Same thing with canned goods. You know damn right well, they pull forward. And all the newest stuff is in the back. So I always reach to the back for something. And nothing will piss me off more than to see dust on top of a can. Because that means that your people that are taking care of those sections aren't cleaning. Now, a can can be there like 2 days, 3 days, and it'll get dust on it. When you're checking your merchandise and pulling your merchandise forward, don't you have a little rag? You got a shitload of microfiber towels over in closeouts. Hand them to the employees. Tell them, hey, wipe everything down. I take a can off the shelf, I see dust on it, and I'm like, Rrr. Even though the expiration date won't be for like 5 years from now, I don't want to see dust on top of a can or a box or anything. I get into it with the chip guys all the time because they will want to pack the maximum on a shelf. And they'll be fluffing the bags, pushing them. I said, you know, every time you slam them bags, you're breaking them chips. I said, I don't want crumbs in the bag. I want chips. I caught one guy one day. As a matter of fact, it was the chips I wanted. So I reached in the box. And he goes, hey, what are you doing? I said, well, these chips aren't going to be all broken. I said, those are going to be all goddamn breadcrumbs by the time you get done smashing them. Or I'll stand there and I'll watch them. They turn back, can I help you with something? Oh, I'm just looking. And then they will gently. If you're not watching, they're like, you get home, you open the bag, there might be 2 chips that are whole. Everything else is all crumbs. Although, what I do, I save all the broken chips. Every bag of chips I get, when I get to them broken ones in the bottom, I have an airtight container. I pour them in. Then when I go to, like if I need breadcrumbs, I'll put some in the food processor. I love breading chicken and whatever with crushed potato chips. Just gives it an extra flavor. I tell that to friends and they're like, what? Yeah, try. You don't have to crush them up. I said, put them in the food processor and make them look like those Japanese panko breadcrumbs. And then bread your chicken or whatever. Anytime I need breadcrumbs, mine are crushed potato chips. I know I'm strange. Thing in the chat. If she took off, that's fine. Safety is better, more important. If she's listening, hi there. I wonder why it'll pop in tonight. And no new subscribers either. I'm stuck at 85 still. Kind of getting depressing. I ain't never going to see 100. And it still amazes me how some of these people got 30, 40, 50,000 subscribers. And I'm like, oh, geez. Yeah, it's more, if she's got a tornado on the way, that's more important than listening to my dumbass babble on. But, yeah, if she pops in, great. If she's gone for the rest of the evening, we'll keep our fingers crossed that she don't get wind damage. Sometimes just the wind does enough damage. I've seen houses like stripped of their shingles, and we didn't even get a severe storm. Well, see, the shorts draw people in. But unless, if you don't have longer content, they kind of just like, everybody tells me I should put up some shorts. And then, I should put them on, TikTok and Messenger and Snapchat. And if you could just post, I would. But you have to join. And I'm not signing up for all of them. I have a hard enough time remembering the password for my goddamn bank account, let alone passwords for everything. And, you got to use a capital letter and a symbol and a number, and it's got to be, God, some of them, it's got to be 16 characters long. Oh, I was at 33 forever, Jenny. Well, yeah, I know. I've been thinking of if that's going to gain me some more subscribers, put some shorts up. If you can't win. You don't put any shorts up, and you don't really gain subscribers. If you only put up shorts, you don't gain any subscribers. So what that? I can't remember if I subscribed or not, Jenny. I'm going to have to. I don't know if I did or not. Well, that's not a bad idea. People will be like, what the hell's that? And then, yeah, that's a good idea. I never thought of that. Just, yeah. Put up a short of just him bowing, and people will be like, what the hell's this? And then they'll watch. But, I would like to see more. But when you come right down to it, I really don't have anything that's that interesting that I'm going to get 30, 40, 50,000 people going, oh, we're going to subscribe to him. I just ramble on for an hour and a half, 2 hours, like some idiot on the verge of dementia. Yeah, I'm going to give that some serious thought. Somewhere there's a box in the basement that got left here by the previous tenant. And I think there's some doll clothes in it. I'll have to see what's in the box and then dress him up. I'd like to find a little hat, I've been looking when I go through the kids' toys for a little top hat. I think it'd be a riot with him with a top hat on, but you don't see that. And I'm not crafty enough to make one, but I think it would be cool if he had a little top hat. I might experiment with it in the next couple of days. It's not a bad idea. It might draw a few. People go, a vulture taking a bow? What's all this about? Worth a shot. Anything's worth a try nowadays. Even if I could find any kind of hat, like a bowler, oh, now I'm really an English bowler. That would be cool. I think I'm going to have to go to the craft shop. They might have that kind of stuff there. You know, like in the wedding section or the cake, probably in the cake decorating section. Maybe I'd get lucky to find a little top hat or something. It'd be neat if I could find a little tuxedo. Put him in a tuxedo jacket. Oh, my son would think I lost it for sure. Walk in and I'm dressing a goddamn stuffed animal. He's like, oh, time to make the phone call to the home. You know, the problem is the only Michaels that's close to me is in a goddamn area with a freeway exit. And you can't get in the place, you can't get out of the place. Everybody tells me that there's a way you can sneak in and around the back, but I've yet to figure out how. But, oh, it's just, of all places for them to build a plaza, and no matter what time of day, it's just irritating. There used to be, we had a place called Pat Catan's. They were like 5 minutes away. I used to go to that place all the time. Well, then the owner passed away, and his son didn't really want the business. So he sold it to Michaels. But Michaels didn't want that store. He wanted a store in a plaza. Where did he go? Ridge Park Square. One of the worst places you could go. But I'm gonna have to aggravate myself and go there. Well, that's the only one we have. You know, we used to have Joann Fabrics. If you needed fabric, they were all over the place. Well, they went out of business because who sews anymore? Back in high school, home ec for girls, you had to make a dress. You had to go buy a pattern and material. Where did you get the pattern and material? Joann Fabrics. If I needed material to recover something, where did I go? Joann Fabrics. No more. There have been more things that I've gotten rid of because I couldn't recover, like some really nice desk chairs. I'd have recovered the chair and kept them. No. God, we don't even have any tailor shops anymore. If I need, if I need something done, I used to get a deal on slacks with no hem. And then there was a tailor shop up the street. I would go in there. I'd say, all right, I need them, 34. They'd hem them for me, couple of bucks. Yeah, see, they're closing everywhere. We had 3 of them within a 20-minute drive. All gone. As a matter of fact, the one up in Lakewood is a goddamn pet food place. I used to, I could go in, I could buy foam rubber, I could buy material, everything I needed to recover something. Not anymore. And same thing. They don't teach home ec in high school anymore. God, I can remember one of the girls I dated in high school. She made all of her clothes. She would do her school projects, and she enjoyed sewing so much. She would just buy pattern and material. I remember she'd be like, "Can you take me up to Joanne Fabrics again?" No, I was like, "Oh, yes." And she'd go in and she'd buy 4 or 5 patterns, and then I'd be, "What do you think of this material?" "Oh, it's lovely." And she would buy all the material she needed for like 5 dresses. And like 2 weeks later, it was like, "Can you take me to Joanne Fabrics?" She would be, every time I'd stop over the house, I'd say, "Where's Susie?" "She's downstairs." I knew that meant she was sitting behind a sewing machine. She had a little tailor shop set up in the basement. She had her sewing machine, and she had a table down there where she could cut her patterns and ironing board, 9,000 hangers. Very rarely did she ever buy clothing. She would make her blouses, she would make dresses, she would make skirts. She loved to sew. So, like, for her birthday or for Christmas, I asked her, "Well, what do you want?" "Well, I need thread in every color and pins." Okay. Get in the car. We'll go to Joanne Fabric. You pick it all out. I'll pay for it. Girls they don't sew. Nobody sews anymore. Well, I know one person that sews, but I don't think she'd want to do that small crap I would need done. Because the girl I bought my Nissan from, she is the costume designer for the Cleveland Playhouse. Her house looked like a material shop. And her living room, oh my God, the sewing machine she had in her living room, holy shit. One of them, she told me, she goes, oh, that machine in the corner is like $20,000. I was like, what? Oh, it did embroidery, and she told me, she goes, I can set up the computer in the sewing machine to stitch your name in any kind of font. She goes, I could put your name on coats and jackets and shirts, and I don't need to go that far. But I've been thinking of buying a jacket and having her like an Old English, grumpy old man on the back of it. Oh, my grandmother had the foot pump, an old singer. She'd flip it up, put the belt on it, foot pump it. Yet, I'll tell you what, that sewing machine weighed as much as the Titanic. It was a bitch to drag out of the... She had a little cubby closet in the corner. Drag that thing out in the kitchen for her. Flip it open. Foot pump it. I mean, it was neat to watch her, yeah. She controlled the speed that way. I remember my grandfather offered to buy her an electric one, and she went, ain't nothing wrong with this. He goes, yeah, but nope, don't want one. Her old foot. Although we do still have a Singer sewing machine shop in Lakewood, but you ain't buying no little dipsy doodle kitchen machine in that shop. That shop is more for like professional sewers. But it surprised me, it's still there. Next door used to be a typewriter shop. I remember buying a typewriter there. As a matter of fact, I still have it. It looks like a briefcase. And you set it down, and you open the lid, and there it is. I can't remember if it's a Royal Portable. I still have it. It's on the shelf in my bedroom closet. Matter of fact, October, November last year, I ordered new ribbon for it. Because Staples was too fucking expensive. I bring it out every now and then. I tell our kids, this is our word processor. This was our word processor back in the day. Our computer printer right here. these fingers. In the garage, I have an Underwood commercial typewriter. It's got a carriage on it about, God, 24 inches long. The guy left it and all the keys. I've got it soaking in WD-40. I'm slowly getting the keys to work again. I don't know what I'll do with it, but it's like from the late 30s. You know, there's certain times I have found I needed a typewriter to do certain things because you can't do it in a printer off your computer. Now, maybe there is a way, like I had some ID cards. You couldn't stick them in the goddamn printer, so I had to type them up. And then I laminated them. But, you know, when computer printers became popular, people never thought you might still need a typewriter. Don't throw it away. No. I keep mine just in case. I like to bring it out every now and then, show the kids in the neighborhood. They're like, what is that? It's a word processor. Well, how does it work? Right here. Although, I am glad in grade school they taught typing class, because I'd have been screwed if I didn't know how to type. Well, you know, you could hunt and peck, but I hated typing in school. Oh, I hated that class. But now I'm thankful that we had it, because you need to type on your computer. Although I can't type on my tablet. I cannot type on that keyboard. So I bought a Bluetooth keyboard for my tablet. And same thing with my phone. I need a stylus, because first of all, the goddamn letters are so tiny. Although I do have the option talk to text. I never use it, but I could, talk to my phone, send text message to Joe. You're an asshole. I got a friend who uses talk to text all the time, because he can't type for shit on the phone. So although his works better than mine. It whatever software is in an iPhone, it works a lot better than the software in an Android. Oh, I'll tell you what, I watch some of these kids, they're it's amazing how fast some of these kids can type on the phone. Although I told you, I talked to a hand surgeon, and on teenagers, he's doing a lot of what they call carpal thumb because they do so much that they're screwing the tendons up in their thumb and they have to tighten the tendon. He calls it carpal tunnel, you know. He says, I do a lot of carpal thumb surgery. And these kids don't realize it, that, yeah, they're screwing their hands up. Because everything is text, you know. I was watching, while I was waiting for the store manager, there was a woman that had a couple of teenage daughters standing at the service desk. And one of them, I couldn't even see her thumb. She was going so goddamn fast on that phone. I was like, Jesus. Like lightning. Twins. I had them both done a year apart exactly. And you know the interesting thing, I'm right-handed. My carpal was worse in my left hand than it was in the right. But I had them both done exactly a year to the day. And what drove my surgeon crazy, I worked at the hospital at that time. I handpicked the nurses in the operating room. I said, are you working such day? Yeah. Well, I'm going in for a carpal. And I picked my own anesthesiologist, and the whole thing was she didn't even work for this doctor. He walks in the operating room, and he goes, what the hell kind of pull do you have? I said, why? He goes, what's with all this? I said, well, I handpicked the operating room team and the anesthesiologist. He goes, well, I have one. I said, you know, I kind of trusted her a little more because I knew her. But and then the second time, when I got the other hand done, he was like, oh no, not again. I said, yep. Yeah, I handpicked all the nurses and the anesthesiologist. And she appreciated it because it was extra pay for her, you know. Because first of all, she didn't have anything scheduled for that day. And second of all, she was able to charge more because she didn't work for this doctor. I was like, I don't care. My hospitalization is through the clinic anyway, so bill whatever you want. Same thing, anytime I had to have a test done or something, I handpicked my crew. Because I got along so well with everybody. The only time I couldn't pick was when I had my cervical fusion done, because that was at a different hospital. The surgeon didn't work at Lakewood, so I had to go to a different hospital for that. But any other, you talk about pissing a doctor off. When I had to have my second hernia surgery, I got one on each side. I'm in, ready to be examined. And in bops this, God, she looked like she was 18. In bops this, and she's examining, and I says, can I ask you a question? She goes, well, yeah. I says, is it customary for the nurses to come in and do that kind of exam? And she said, I'm Dr. Stevenson. I'm your surgeon. I'd be like, oh, I'm going to come out a female when this surgery's done. She walked in, and she looked like she was 18 out of high school. Only to find out she was like 28 or 29 and extremely skilled, because the procedure she used on me she flew over to, oh shit, I'm going blank. I think it was the Netherlands. They had pioneered a different type of hernia surgery. And she was over there for like a year. Because when I had the surgery on the left side, I had a goddamn incision that was like that. She did a 2-inch. And no stitches. It shocked the shit out of me when they took the dressing off. I was like, whoa! Don't worry, it's super glued. You're good. And she used what they call a living mesh. Now, this stuff is made from, I want to say, pig intestine. And what it does is it's actually absorbed into the muscle to make it heal faster and be stronger than if they put that goddamn, they were using that like plastic mesh or something, and then they had to go in and take it out because it was causing all kinds of problems. It was amazing when she explained it to me. She goes, that muscle will be stronger than like when you were in your 20s. And the healing was faster. And like I say, it was a little 2-inch incision. Because when I come out of recovery, I was like, did she actually like do the surgery, or did she look in there and went, nah, we got to do something else? And the recovery room said, the nurse said, you're all fixed. Then she took the dressing off to change it, and I was like, whoa, there ain't no stitches. She goes, don't worry about it. God, I had fucking staples with the other one. Holy shit. But you know, it's amazing. All the outpatient surgery that they do nowadays. When I had it done the first time, I was in the hospital 2 days. This time, in by 6, out by 1. Go home, you're done, get out of here. Of course, you know, you got to take it easy, but I was shocked. Because I said to her, I says, how long am I going to be in the hospital? She goes, a couple hours. That's a couple hours. Same thing with my fusion. I had the surgery like around noon on Friday, and at 3 o'clock Saturday, they were kicking my ass out already. Of course, I had that goddamn neck brace was made out of steel. Jesus Christ. That super hard plastic. And then the surgeon told me, he goes, well, you know, you can take it off when you shower. Don't move your head. What? Don't move your head. Well, how the hell do you shower not moving your head? He's, don't move your head. Okay. Scared shitless standing there. Shower one. Dry off. Neck brace. Then I could move. I think back, you know, the 60s, 70s, you were in the hospital forever. Not today. If they can do it and kick your ass out, you're out. Yeah, when I had the hernia done, I had to be there at 6 a.m., and like, it was like around 1:30. See ya. The carpal boots you right out. Get out of here. Okay. And the scary one was my Cadillac surgery. Because you're awake. Because they ask you all kinds of questions. And you can see the goddamn surgical instrument coming across your eye. Like, whoa! Yeah, when he implanted the lens, he was like, okay, what color? Green, yellow, red, white, blue. Okay. And they stitched it up. But yeah, I'm having surgery and he's talking to me. Well, let me know if you can feel anything. I said, Doc, if I can start to feel things, I'm going to be grabbing for your balls. Keep me under. Keep my eye under. It was amazing surgery. What was even more amazing is once both eyes totally healed, I don't need these for vision. And I'm driving, I don't need them. This is just for reading and in front of the computer. And the reason, now, I hadn't had my eyes examined forever. And I'm going down the freeway one day, and like maybe 3 exits down, the sign was all blurry. And then 2 exits away, it was still blurry. I was like, something ain't right here. So I went in for an eye exam, and they said, oh, your eyes are fucked up. You got Cadillacs on your eyes. I was like, oh shit. I was hoping for Rolls Royces. But of course, I hadn't had an eye exam in like 8 years. Now, every 2, like clockwork. Matter of fact, when I get done with an exam, I make the appointment right away. Although I do have to, go in, I gotta get some laser surgery in the right eye. Because there's from the surgery, I got a little scar tissue starting to fuck me up a little bit. Although she told me, in and out, we'll just hit you with a laser, and you're done. Yeah, the last exam, she said, if your right eye, you start to notice a little funniness, let me know. Because she said, you got a little scar tissue starting to form. I said, well, what kind of surgery is that going to entail? She went, laser. We do it with laser. Have a nice day. So I do a lot of this, you know. How's this eye? Okay. How's this eye? The last time I was like, oh, that right eye getting a little bit fuzzy. I'm going to have to make an appointment and get it done. I don't know why I keep putting it off. She said, zap, zap, and you're fixed. See, I couldn't get that, what the hell they call it? The laser surgery, whatever. Because the Cadillacs were too bad. But the surgery was a piece of cake, really. Oh, maybe my package is here. I hear the door. I hope so, this goddamn outfit. Stand by for news. We will be right back. Do-do-do-do. Well, while I'm streaming, I wanted to ask her where the hell GoFo's terminal is. What a name, GoFo Express. Because it's not on the website. The local terminal, wherever it is not on the website. Like with UPS, it'll tell me, your package is at Middleburg Heights. Okay, that's the terminal for this area. FedEx is in Stowe, Ohio. You look on the website, nothing for GoFo. Except for you can call them or you can email them and it gives you the time. Like this morning. 8:05 AST. Whatever AST was. If my package left at 9:36 this morning, the goddamn terminal must be in Columbus. Because you can't, there ain't no way they had that many packages to deliver today. Although they might have more than just Temu. But I never heard of them. I get the tracking information. I'm looking at the tracking number. It's about 700 digits long. And then it says, GoFo Express. I thought it was some kind of joke. And then, if you want to be a driver, there's applications online, but it don't give an address nowhere. Their location is top secret, evidently. I wasn't gone that long. My side door is, not at the end of a cave. My studio is actually the second bedroom in this house. I have the master bedroom, then my studio, and my son is upstairs. Thank God. Been a goddamn year since he worked. 40 years old. That's all right. I pissed his mother off. I said, you can support him. She's like, what do you mean? Well, ask him for his grocery list every week because I ain't feeding him. And she does. And then she begged me. He needs to do laundry. Well, fine. He can bring it down and I will do it. He ain't getting near my new machine. Oh, no. I'm finally getting the hang of that stupid piece of crap. It's really hard getting used to one wash cycle, 55 minutes. when I could do in 23 with the other machine. Goofiest goddamn machine on earth. Tomorrow I have a little plumbing work I need to do. I have to change the faucet in the bathroom. When I moved in here, the plumber changed the faucets. He bought the cheapest crap he could buy. The faucet in the kitchen, about 6 months after he installed it, the hot, when you went to turn the goddamn knob, it started to seize up. Although the goddamn it was all plastic. Well, the bathroom's doing the same thing now. You go to turn the water off and it's like... So I bought a new faucet. I bought a neat one. I got it on closeout at the Homeless Depot. It's got real fancy arms for on and off. And then it's got that, it matches the one I got in my kitchen. I like those with the high gooseneck. And it's in antique bronze. It was regularly $189. On sale for $38.75. And I grabbed it. But it's kind of cool. Matter of fact, the handles on the faucet look like kind of like the old pump well handles, you know. And then it's got that nice high neck. I'm like, oh, cool. Although it'll be my luck. It's, you know, too high up, and when you turn the water on, it'll splash out of the sink in your face. I never thought of that until after I got it home. I was like, oh, no. But for the price I paid, I'm going to use it. And it's easy to change. 15, 20 minutes, I'll be all done. It's easier for me to just do some shit than to call my landlord and hear him bitch, you know. Oh, that was a brand new faucet. Yeah. Brand new Chinese crap. Plastic faucets. Just more and more shit on the market. God, I think growing up, I think our house still had the original goddamn faucets in the kitchen and in the bathroom. I don't ever remember well, in the kitchen, yeah. Because my father changed the sink. My mother wanted a 2-bowl sink. So we originally had one big one. And she went, oh, I want... Because I remember he bought a new countertop. But the one in the bathroom, I think, was still the original from when my grandfather bought the house back in 1953. And it's a shame to drive past the house now because the people that got it don't take care of it. Oh, man. it's a brick house, and all the trim was white. The paint is so goddamn old, it's like dingy, dirty gray now. And they all the shrubs my father planted, they ripped out. It's just sad to drive past that house and look at it today and go, oh man, looks like a dump. See, I never left this neighborhood. I've been right here 73 years. Same neighborhood. And have I seen it go to hell? People parking on their front lawn. I don't know how many garages have burned down. And people don't replace them. God, I couldn't live in a house without a garage. Jesus. But you can't, you can't change it. I've told certain neighbors, oh, you should have seen this house back in the 50s and 60s, Beautiful landscaping and shrubs and flowering plants, and they look at you like you're speaking a foreign language. I kind of give them, drop a hint to kind of spruce it up a little bit. Nah. People don't want to be bothered with that shit nowadays. Landscaping? God, you're lucky to see them cut their goddamn grass. I wish I had pictures to show people oh, look what your house looked like back in the 60s. Now look at the dump that it is today. But you can't do that. You can't say that to people. You can't tell them how to, keep their property. But it is sad. I remember, neighbors kind of tried to outdo one another. Oh, look, I planted another hydrangea in my front yard. Oh, well, next week I'm going to plant 2. Then that neighbor goes, I'm going to plant 5,000 daffodils. And then come next year, I'm planting 6,000 then. Not today. They think they're doing the neighborhood a favor if they come home with a hanging basket. There's my flower. And then they forget to water it and it dies. Anything to bitch about, I can't stay out of trouble. But I would love to have pictures of the neighborhood to show people, look what it looked like. When people took pride in what they owned. Although we've got so many goddamn rentals now, these goddamn foreigners come in and buy up all the goddamn houses. Slumlords. Progress. Yeah, we're progressing right into a slum. I think it's about time to make some of my old-fashioned hot dogs. Let's see if the tablet's going to cooperate and play some outro music without a fight. Oh, it went right to the alphabetical. Wow. Unbelievable. We know where, right here, WDWL TV, 7 p.m. Have a good evening, Jenny and Kathy, and I hope the weather cooperates and there's no major problems and everybody's safe. And I'll be thinking of everybody. And we will meet again right here tomorrow night. Have a good rest of your evening. Take care.